Hey everybody, Sean Holsinger here from HolsingersFlyShop.com. Today I got a real simple pattern to tie for you. It's Catnip by George Daniels. It's his check nipping pattern. It's an anchor pattern. Get you down there real quick. We're using a tungsten bead head on it. And I tie this in a couple different colors. That was chartreuse. That's what we use in the video today. Here's one in a hot pink. And even an olive. These are all good fish catching patterns. Have a couple of each in your box. So let's get down to business on how we tie that. We're going to start out on a size 8 1120 Daiichi scud hook, and we're going to use tungsten bead for it. We're using the 5/32 black nickel one. You can use black nickel. You can use gold if you want. I'm just going to use black nickel on this one. And for lead wire, I'm going to put some lead wire on it. Use whatever size, but don't go too big because this isn't a really big fat fly. So I'm going to use a 0.015, and I'm going to get about a dozen wraps of lead on here. Just wrap this up quick. Now, a lot of times what I do is I take and I wrap up to the head like that, and I'll take and I'll push my lead up inside the bead to secure the bead in place. But I'm actually going to leave it back just a hair on this one, and reason being is whenever I get up to wrap this off and wrap the collar, I don't want a real big collar on it, so this is going to fall into place with the collar there. Okay, so we're just going to cover the lead in the hook shank here with our black thread. Mainly just getting my lead covered is the most important part. And it doesn't have to be perfect, it's just because you're going to cover it up with the UV polar chenille here in a second. But it's, like I said, not real important, but just something you can do. Next thing I'm going to put on is just a small strip of thin skin. Golden Stone Mottled Oak is the color. And we're just going to cut a strip, like about 1/8 of an inch wide, not a real thick strip. And we're going to tie it down on the bend of the hook, and we're going to make sure we get it tied down on the top there. So whenever we pull it up over, this is going to be the scud back, or whatever you want to call it, on the fly. You want it to go on the center of the fly. For the ribbing on the fly, I'm going to use like a 5X mono, or like anywhere from like a 6 to a 10 pound test. Just don't make it too thick. You just want it to show the ribbing there. Okay, now we got that tied in, we're going to come in with the next piece of material, and that is UV polar chenille in micro. And this one is chartreuse, the color we're going to be using on this fly. And you can see it's really skinny and just got little pieces of flash hanging off of it. So I'm just going to tie that in at the back. And then we're just going to wrap this forward. Now, when I wrap it forward here, you want to try not to wrap too many of them fibers down, because you want it to have a leggy look to it. And you want to make sure you cover up all that black thread that you covered the lead up with. You want to get that all covered up real nice. So keep your wraps tight, and like I said, try not to trap too much of the fibers coming off the thread there, so it's more leggy looking. And we're going to wrap this up about 3/4 of the way, just a little bit shy of where you stopped your lead at. And once we get there, we're just going to tie it off. You just make about 3 tight wraps there, hold it down good. And snip it off, and then you can make another wrap or two. Just make sure it doesn't go anywhere. Now the next thing we're going to come in with is some black. We're going to put the black in right where we stopped the green. Wrap her down with a couple wraps there, and then we're going to wrap it right up to the bead. So I actually wrapped back a wrapper 2 or 3 there to make sure I got it covered up where the chartreuse joins it there. And I want to wrap this just so it gets a leggy look there with those fibers. I want to make sure it has enough of the legs there. And then we'll just tie this off again. Okay, now the last step we do is we put the, oops, got all wrapped up there. The last thing we're going to do is we're going to put the thin skin up over the back. And we're just going to pull it right up over the back, hold it tight, and I'm just going to hold it on the bead. And then I'm going to come in with my thread right behind that bead and pull it down tight. Okay, get a couple wraps there and then we'll trim it off. Then the last thing we do is we're just going to run our monofilament up here for our rib. Just give it a nice even space as you wrap it up there. And what I like to do is when I get on the bottom side, I kind of wiggle it around so I don't trap many of those fibers down. And you know, that kind of tries to wiggle them in between those leggy fibers. And then we just get it up there to the head and tie it off. Alright, now I'm just going to make a nice solid collar there and whip finish. And then we can add just a little dab of glue there. Using my UV Fly Finish Flow. Just the same thing as head cement except UV glue. So it dries faster. And that's all that's to this simple pattern. George Daniels Catnip pattern. If you'd like to give it a try, we have all the materials at the shop. Like I said, it's just the bead, which is a tungsten bead 5/32 in black nickel, size 8 scud hook. You can tie it as small or as big as you want. Typically, he likes to tie it bigger, even like into a size 6, a size 6 to 10 mostly. This is a heavy weighted fly to get you down to the bottom real quick. So give it a try, and like I said, find all the material at our shop at holsingersflyshop.com. Thanks again for watching, and please take the time to subscribe to my channel as always, and see you next week.